On today's show, we're joined by Senators goalie prospect Kevin Reidler.
Kevin tells us about moving from Sweden to the NCAA, some of his favorite Swedish idols growing up, and Sens Dev Camp.
As a goalie, you know he's a good guy. Great conversation coming up with him. Plus, Elite Prospects has put out their annual top 100 prospect list. Where does Carter Yakovchuk find himself? That's all coming up on today's Locked On Sens.
I'm Jake Sanderson.
I'm Tim Stützle, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators, the only daily podcast covering the Sens. On the outskirts of enemy territory, I'm Ross Levitan, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains. You can find us on social media. We're at Sens Central on Twitter. You can find the show everywhere you get podcasts. We are free and available on YouTube. Today is Monday, August 19th, and Pilsy, I know we like getting mad at lists on this show, but the way Elite Prospects worded their Carter Yakovchuk recap, it really gives them so much leeway here. It almost makes me even more mad.
Well, that's why people make lists, for people to get mad at them. But let's give a little context to this, Ross. So EP put out a list of their top 100 affiliated prospects ahead of the 2024-2025 season. And Carter Yakovchuk, the 7th overall pick of the 2024 NHL draft, is ranked number 36 with multiple other defensemen that were selected in that draft after Yakovchuk ranked ahead of him in this prospect list. But Ross, you mentioned apart from the first statement, which is fair to get upset at when you start off saying, look, he should be ranked way higher, but we don't have him that high.
The direct quote is, there's an easy argument that Yakovchuk is about 20 spots too low. 20, not 2. 20. Why?
Well, Ross, if it's an easy argument, let's get to it. I mean, I think part of the Yakovchuk, I don't want to say discourse, but where scouts and prospect analysts kind of look at Yakovchuk and they really knock him is the skating, obviously. And we know Elite Prospect is very, very big on the skating. They got the protractor out when guys are doing their stride. Was that a 45-degree angle on his first stride? Things like that. So they're very in tune with how people skate. Yakovchuk, not the best skater in the class. And I feel like they take a look at the boom or bust, and they're not quite sure how high he can go or how low he can go. And he's the kind of prospect where that's kind of fair. Like, if Yakovchuk turns into the player we want him to, he's going to be a big, physical, mean defenseman. He's going to put up points on the power play. He's going to be better in transition as his skating gets better. But also the defensive side of Yakovchuk's game still needs a lot of work as well. So there's really high aspirations and qualities that Yakovchuk has, but the qualities that he doesn't quite have yet kind of give you cause for concern. What if he doesn't figure those things out as a defenseman? If you can't skate and you're not that great at defending, you're going to end up being a power play specialist, and that only lasts so long. Like, usually guys, you get a couple hot years and then you fade. Like, look at a guy like Tyson Barrie, right? When he was hot, he was putting up lots of power play points and it was going well. Now he's sitting unsigned. So
Tyson Barrie is a little bit different than Yakovchuk. Doesn't have the frame, doesn't have the size, the the physicality, all that.
No, definitely. But that's what I'm saying. If Yakovchuk can't put it all together and he's not able to continue that, that's what he could end up. But I guess more the comparison I'm making is the point producing, where like Yakovchuk probably is going to excel and get a lot of his points on the power play. If he's not able to keep that up, where does it leave him?
Yeah, it's a fair question. Elite Prospects definitely wondering that, because if you move him up 20 spots, he's still below guys who are in his draft class, like Berkeley Catton, who's right in there. But if you're the Anaheim Ducks, you're probably looking at this list a little more upset. Their 3rd overall pick, Beckett Seneca, is at 18 on the Elite Prospects list. So they don't care where you're drafted is what I'm getting at with that one.
Can we get an ISO cam of Beckett Seneke reading this list and being shocked at how low he is? But I mean,
the way that EP grades is a 1 through 9 scale, and to get an 8, you have to be exceptional at
9
anything.
is the top.
Oliver Moore is their top-rated skater in any one attribute, and he has an 8.5 in skating. I have yet to see a 9 across the board here. I was scrolling up, though, so I wasn't at the top guys, but even here, 8.5 hockey sense for Matvei Michkov. He's number 2, and Macklin Celebrini's got a lot of 8s, but no 9s, and we haven't seen any 2s either. So it's always very similar. And you look at Yakovchuk getting a 7.5 for puck handling is certainly a tip of the cap to the way that he can control the pace of play with the puck on his stick. And I do think that it is more or less fair when you really kind of boil it all down in terms of the question marks surrounding the skating. And there are some, but the way he can shoot the puck got a 7 out of the 1 to 9 scale there. And the physicality and passing at a 6, I think those could probably be argued to be maybe a little higher, especially physicality. Saw him rock guys last year. But you know what? Let's let people sleep. There's been maybe a few times in the last few years where the Senators fan base, ourselves included, hand up, have maybe overhyped certain prospects in different areas. Now, we were right when we were telling people they were too low on Stützle and Sanderson. Yeah. That was obvious, but I think it's given us maybe a little bit too much cockiness, confidence, arrogance, call it what you want, where it's like, no, our guys are going to be great. Let's let Yakovchuk have this season in Calgary. I'm still kind of maybe hoping he gets traded to a competitive front runner in the WHL, but look, I think he showed well at this World Junior Showcase enough that I do believe he will make Team Canada at the World Juniors, and let's let his play do the talking this year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And like Ross, we did a little quick exercise trying to be like, okay, of the 35 players ranked ahead of him, who is like egregiously too high and who could Yakovchuk replace? And we didn't really hit any like hard, obvious answers. Like we had a couple guys, we looked at it and we're like, yeah, that's close. But if you want to have him ahead of Yakovchuk, that's fair. Like it wasn't like there was a handful of guys where you're like, how is this guy ranked higher? So although 36, when you just initially quick see it, you're like, what? For a 7th overall pick? How could he be that low? But it is kind of fair. So I get it. I think, Ross, for me, it's tough, and I have to let go of my attachments when you see multiple other prospects that we liked, that we thought the Sens were going to choose instead of Yakovchuk, ranked so high. I'm talking about the Zane Parek's, the Zeke Williams,
11,
even the Sam Dickinson's. I think he was in the teens
or something. Yeah.
So that's tough when you see that. But again, you're not drafting players for how good they're going to be in their draft plus 1 year.
You don't draft players to know how high elite prospects going to list them?
Well, maybe some teams do. I don't know. Probably the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah.
But it's all about where you think they're going to end up and the type of career they're going to have. So rest easy, Sens fans. We can get mad at this list, but still be excited for Carter Yakovchuk.
The top 5 elite prospects, and the write-ups are very comprehensive. Highly recommend getting the premium subscription for elite prospects. Macklin Celebrini at number 1, Matvei Michkov at number 2, Ivan Demidov at number 3, Caden Lidstrom at number 4, and Ryan Leonard at number 5, the Washington Capitals' 8th overall pick in 2023. So there's your top 5 and a little bit of insight on 36 for the Ottawa Senators. Their only prospect on the list. They had Ridley Gregg on here last year. Of course, he's graduated, no longer Calder Trophy eligible, which is where they have their cutoff. They do the same for goalies, and Matt Sogard played exactly 6 games last year, making him ineligible for the Calder and therefore this list. Apparently, if you play back-to-back seasons with 6 or more games, you're no longer qualified. So there you go. No Levi Merlainen in the top 15, though I do kind of have a little bit of a bone to pick, but maybe he just didn't play enough games turning pro, and these people aren't dialed into the Senators as you are listening to this, or dare I say, locked on. All right, Pilsy, great conversation coming up with Kevin Reidler, and that's the pronunciation he gave us. Yes. That's what we're going to ride with. Kevin Reidler, excited to see his upcoming season. with Omaha. And I think he's one of those guys who you're instantly going to become a fan of when you hear his enthusiasm and passion for the game.
And Ross, I feel like, there's so many goalie prospects that have been in Belleville that Sens fans usually are keyed on them. And you kind of forget about the Reidlers, the Nikitins. But if you're unfamiliar with Kevin Reidler's game, go check out his EP. Check out the stats he put up last year in the USHL. Go check out the mic'd up video from Sens Dev Camp. Like, this guy's a stud, and I'm excited for him. And we're stoked he came on our #goalie friendly show.
Let's get into it right now. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Indeed. We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for things like scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your job more visibility at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on the Locked On Senators podcast. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Today's episode is also brought to you by the GLEBE Central Pub, located right in the heart of the Glebe at 779 Bank Street. The GLEBE Central Pub is always there for you. Whether you want a cold beer, a great meal, or if you want to go and hang out with friends, you can do all that at the GLEBE Central Pub. They've got live music every Saturday night at the GLEBE Central Pub, so make sure you put that on your calendar for great vibes. And the vibes are free at the GCP. They've also got the dartboard there and plenty of interactive events happening at the GCP. I'm talking about the golf tournament they've got scheduled for September 28th, a shotgun start. I'm talking about the Taco Tuesday that they got at the pub. They also are such a solid soccer bar. And hey, even if you're not into the sport itself, how about the atmosphere that a solid soccer atmosphere can create? It's second to none, and they've got it all at the Glebe Central Pub. So get there today, have the smash burger, get the buffalo chicken wrap, and do it proudly, and make sure to go check out the Glebe Central Pub. You can find them at 779 Bank Street. When you head there, let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. We're super excited to have a great partnership going with the Glebe Central Pub, so let them know that we sent you, and enjoy your time where the vibes are free at the GCP. All right, now let's get to our conversation. Here is Kevin Reidler. All right, we now welcome on a very special guest. It's Senators goalie prospect Kevin Reidler. We're talking to him from Omaha, where he's about to make the transition coming out of the USHL. But what a whirlwind the last few years have had to been for you, Kevin, going from the Swedish hierarchy of minor hockey. All of a sudden, you're drafted, you're in North America. How did you handle that big transition in your life?
First of all, thanks. To be honest, I'm not really sure. I've had great support. It's been a couple hectic years for sure, but it's been great.
So we're a #goalie friendly show. Kevin, Ross, and I both played goalies. We always show the goalie some love, so we're glad to get you on the show. When did you start playing goalie, or was it right from the jump?
No, I started playing hockey pretty early. My grandfather was Swedish legend.
Yeah.
He was a centerman, but he got me into hockey basically. And then I don't know how old I was, but Jacob Markstrom was playing in my hometown. So,
Okay.
And he played for the pro team there pretty early. So I think he's the main reason actually that I tried it out.
That's awesome. And was there any worry that you weren't going to get that growth spurt? You're 6'6", but I looked up your grandfather, a 7-time Swedish league champion, a bunch of medals in the world championships as well. But I noticed he was 5'8". I don't know if you're playing goalie still, if you're 5'8".
Yeah, I don't know. It was, I know that he was short. He passed away when I was younger, but we had no clue. My parents are not that tall either, so it's yeah, I don't know. It just happened, I guess.
Well, it worked out because, I mean, we talked about at Sens Dev Camp. It wasn't just the goalies and the defensemen. You guys had so much size out there. Did it help you out last month when you were there trying to look around those monsters that you have standing in front of you?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that on the ice. There's a couple of pretty big guys there. It's
well, I'm pretty sure the average height on the back end was 6'5".
Yeah, I saw something on that on Twitter or whatever, but it's nothing I've seen before. But it's just fun. You look around you and you're like, for the first time ever, there's a chance I'm not the tallest guy. So
yeah,
no doubt. Well, let's get into Dev Camp because this was now your third year. How much more comfortable were you the second year, and then now the third? Did you really feel like you could take on a leadership role at the camp?
Personally, like the first year, obviously, it was pretty nervous and super exciting. Just saw my name being called 2 days before, and just got there and meet everyone. It was that part is also nervous to meet the staff and everything, and for that reason it was easier the second year that I had already met everyone. So with that being said, I felt way more comfortable the second year, and that moved on even to the third year. So it's different, and it's easier to show the younger people around. The new draft picks, the new guys that's invites to. It's always good to know where to find the right guys, and it's always good to take that role. I think I like it. So
yeah, we got to see you mic'd up for one of the days. The Sens crew put the mic on you and they were following you around, and so that was awesome to watch. And when you're out there on Dev Camp this year, who are some of the shooters that really impressed you on the ice?
I would say Halliday, obviously.
Yeah.
Pretty cool to be on the ice with him, and especially after that season. Great season for him. So, and that's something that everyone knows too. So you have that respect, but it's fun to be there. Oscar Peterson, for instance, is someone I've been on the ice with a little bit, and every time he's on there, he's always giving his all. So that's also someone that shoots the puck pretty well and works really hard. So I would have to say those.
I know you mentioned Halliday. Is that something in the contract with Dubuque? Because you played last year in the USHL, and he's a legend there. I believe he's the all-time leading scorer.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. I remember I think it was my first year, or maybe it was last year. I was like, yeah, I'm going to Dubuque, and I was talking with him about it, and he just said, yeah, you're gonna love it. So that was the first time I talked with him, and then it's fun to see that he moved on and did as good in college. So yeah, even greater person.
Yeah, and you mentioned Pedersen too. All the Swedes, I feel like you guys are all hardworking guys. You never meet a bad Swede, is the old saying. But did you know any of those guys, whether it was Pedersen or maybe Gabriel on the back end? Like, did you guys kind of come up together? Maybe more with Pedersen. I believe you played World Juniors with him, didn't you?
Yeah, so I met Oscar the first time our first year. We got drafted in the same draft. And I actually played him for 2 games in the Swedish playoffs that year. So we were talking about that for, a couple of dinners we had there. And then obviously with the World Juniors too, we got to hang out even more. So, and then Gabriel, I had never met him, but only heard good things. So it's always fun. We have a lot of Swedes there now. So it's fun. We're a little group there. So.
Well, you mentioned you played in the finals. Who won?
We got relegated by them, unfortunately.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, come on! Did he bring that up the next year?
I know that he was playing with the team like above, the Swedish system. It's a little weird, but he got called down to make that team stronger.
A hired gun, hey?
Yeah, like he came down and he was huge for them, and probably a reason that we couldn't beat them. When you have a player like that, and we were young. We had a young team, so. But yeah, it was a good battle.
Now, in your mic'd up video for the Sens Dev Camp, there's a hilarious moment where Gabriel Eliasson just skates by, and you're like, "Oh my God, look how tall Gabe is!" Like, we all joke about that, but like, just how big is he on the ice? Like, it's got to be, even for a guy as tall as you, that's got to be something to see.
Yeah, I can't remember any time I've seen seen someone bigger on the ice. And that moment, he was skating pretty fast, and I was just like, oh, this guy's he's huge, as I said. So it's not every day you see that. And a great skater too. So
does that affect the way that you play in your crease? Let's say that this was your decor in front of you. You have so many tall guys. Is that going to impact whether you maybe cheat less because the guy in the front has a long reach, or is it just kind of something that you don't pay attention to?
I would more pay attention to the opponents. Usually on when they have the power play, there's usually their biggest guys in front of me. So sometimes when I'm feeling it, I'm like, "Oh, you're huge," talking with them a little bit. So I think he could be an asset in front of their goalie as well. But he's trying to get out of my way in our zone, so that's a good thing.
A good thing, hey?
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, hopefully he blocks a couple shots for you with that big frame, Eliason. So you hope he gets some of those. Now, I want to ask you, I'm always interested in goalies' answers for this. When you went from playing in Sweden to the USHL, I mean, it looks like you had a lot of success. You won a lot of games, especially in the regular season, and had an outstanding playoffs as well. But what's the biggest adjustment for a goalie going from playing in Sweden, coming over to North America?
There's a few. I mean, the ice is smaller, so the game is way faster. And then the players are also, a step up skill-wise and speed-wise. So those two combined makes the game, very, very much faster, like way faster than it's in Sweden, but also less structured. So for me, it was way more chances against me, even though I was playing on a better team for that league. So but once you get into it, it's pretty similar, at least for me.
Hope you're enjoying our chat with Kevin. We'll get right back to it. But first, Pilsy's got a word from our friends with eBay Motors.
Yes, it's eBay Motors. You guys know passion, drive, and patience is what brings home the winning trophy, but it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and even level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. So whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your parts guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you get your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not burning cash. With all the parts you need, but at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that W. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Check it out today, guys. eBay Motors.
Now back to our chat with Kevin Reidler. What's your favorite save to make? What gets you the most fired up? Like a cross-ice 2-on-1 pass where you get a glove on it, or seeing a puck through traffic and getting that, or a breakaway? What gets you the most fired up?
Yeah, for me, it's probably cross crease. But when you can't see anything and you just feel it touch you, it's also like a relief. So it goes both ways. Yeah.
Sure. So now you're stepping into the NCAA. I'm always curious too. Now you're going from playing junior age players to now you're going to be going up against 24, 25-year-olds at some point. What have you heard from whether it's your coaches? I know you're spending the summer now at the dorm preparing for the season. What is everyone telling you is going to be the biggest adjustment playing an NCAA schedule?
It depends who you're asking. Most of the players are more like it's a more structured type of game. So at some points it could even be easier for me because it's way more structured, but that's just what people tell me. I don't know. And then obviously it's another step. The players are even more skilled and even better at shooting pucks and even better at handling the puck. So for me, I'm just gonna look at it as I've done every other year that I'm taking the step. Just continue working on my skating, my tracking, make sure to take that step as well so that I'm ready for it. And if you ask me the same question next year, there's a chance it's different, but yeah, that's how I look at it.
Now, speaking of going the NCAA route, you decided to go to University of Nebraska, Omaha. Kevin, what went into your decision to go there? Was it kind of an obvious, easy decision? Did you have other options you had to weigh out? Tell us about that.
Yeah. First of all, coming over to USHL, I wasn't even really sure what I wanted to do after.
Okay.
But then starting to get the feel of it, what it's like, and played on a team where everyone basically was committed. So heard a lot about it. And then heard from Omaha, just met their goalie coach the first time. He's really good, Peter Aubrey. Started talking with him and I got a really good sense, and I thought we had a good connection. So, because of that, I started thinking more about it and went on a visit there. And that just showed me that they have such a great culture. All of the boys were amazing to me when I was there. The facilities are insane, and they made the decision pretty easy once I was there, because I basically loved everything. I love the culture, I love the coaching staff, the players, the facilities, and the city. So it was kind of exactly what I was looking for. So it made the decision easy.
Now, do you just quickly follow up? Do you know any of the guys on the team already? Like, was there a couple of your buddies that are going there or there, and you're like, oh man, that's a big pull for me?
When I committed, I didn't know anyone.
Okay.
But then now during the summer, my roommate from last year just committed. So
Nice.
that's
There you
super
go.
exciting. Now we're living in the same apartment. So
Perfect.
we're super happy for that. And then there's another Swede. It's always easy to connect about things on forehand. So we help each other out with visas and stuff like that. So it's been great.
Well, it's also awesome too because you get to play in what I think is the best conference in college hockey, the NCHC. You're going to be going into North Dakota. Woo! You're going to play Minnesota. You're going to play these top end teams. And I think that can only help you as a goalie. My question though is, how much are the Senators involved once you're their draft pick? Are they helping you out with whether it's just support or what they think could be best for your upcoming seasons?
I've pretty much had them in the loop all time in this whole process, from, even from playing another year in Sweden and then taking the step and now taking the next step. They've always been in the loop. And obviously NCHC is a great place to be. And as you said, especially as a goalie too. So we're all on the same page.
So the Mavericks, there's some creativity I think you can have there. Do you have your helmet planned for next year? How artistic are you? Do you get involved, or do you just let the painter do his thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I just got my mask. I just got my mask, so it's not even
like a white one right now.
Yeah, it's white right now, and it's not painted yet. But my stallmate in the locker room is he loves goalie stuff, even though he's a player. So
Nice.
he told me he will help me, but other than that, I think I'm gonna trust the painter for this one.
Because I think you could get a little bit of maybe even like a Senators vibe in the background, like the Mavericks. I feel like, if you've seen their logo, Pilsy, that you can play off of this. I'm excited
red
to
and
see
black,
it, Kevin.
Yeah,
the red and black
so
as well.
I mean, I love the colors too. So
are you the kind of guy where you're spending a lot of time on your pads, the colors and all that, or do you not care that much?
To be honest, like my goalie coach back in Sweden when I was way younger, like I got my first set of custom pads. He was helping me with that. Nice. And then ever since that, every season I've always texted him and I'm like, here's the team I'm going to play for. Here's the colors. And then he like starts making them and then I do some adjustments. So it's a tradition that went on for this season as well, which is, I think it's so much fun. So
that's so cool. That's so cool. So you talk about all the Swedish prospects that the Senators have. There's a few guys on the big team as well. You talk about legends in Sweden. Daniel Alfredsson's one of the assistant coaches. And then they go out and trade for a Swedish goalie, Linus Ullmark. I know he was around at Dev Camp. Did you get a chance to meet him?
Yeah, I met him a couple of times. Unreal guy. That's something that's something you hear, even before this. When people talk about him, that he's a great goalie and also a great person. So when the rumors started going around, I was talking with my friends and my parents. I was like, it would be sick if I got to see him. and and then it paid out well.
What was the conversation like when you met him?
I was just like, "What's up? I'm also Swedish." And then
There you
we were
go.
like, "Oh, nice to meet you."
Good
And then,
icebreaker.
yeah, and then a couple of breakfast, we saw each other and just say, "What's up? How's it going?" And he was looking for a house, and just small stuff like that. Nothing crazy.
No, that's awesome. And any interactions with Alfredsson?
I actually didn't run into him this year. I'm not sure if he's been there the previous dev camps, and I know that he was there this year, but I never bumped into him, so I actually didn't get to talk with him.
So what part of Sweden are you from? The hometown team, and excuse my pronunciation, is it Byrnes?
Yeah, that's the team. Yeah, exactly. That we say Brynäs.
Brynäs.
So,
do you know how I know that team? I followed them. They won the championship in 2012, right?
Yep, I was there.
Because Jakob Silfverberg was on the team, wasn't he?
Yes.
I have a Senators Silfverberg jersey in my closet from the 1 year he played there.
Yeah, that's so sick. He was young, and I'm a huge Brynäs fan. Like as you mentioned before, my grandfather played there, and his dad actually started the hockey program, so it's pretty much in my blood.
That's so cool.
So I was watching most of the games there, and as I told you about Markstrom too.
Yeah.
I've been at a lot of games there. So Silfverberg is a legend, and now he's back. He's back there for this year.
He's playing again back there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Because he went straight from winning the championship, and then he played in the playoffs that year in one game with Ottawa right at the end of the series.
Yeah, it's I remember that it was just a small city. Everyone loved hockey, and those games, it was the first time in 13 years that they had a good run at it and they won it. So it's just the whole city went crazy, and obviously he was the big hero. He was wearing number 100 too, I remember.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, me neither. But they had their 100, like the what's it called, the
anniversary.
Yeah, exactly, 100-year anniversary. So he was wearing number 100 because he was a captain. So
yeah, because you guys have so
awesome.
many. There's so many cool traditions. There's the golden helmet is for the leading scorer, right?
Oh, I think that's in Finland, but
is it? There's something. Is it? There used to be like a Red Bull helmet too. I think for a sponsorship.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different. That's
cool.
Pretty different in Europe overall, I would say. But I know that Finland have a golden helmet for the top scorer, so it's easy to spot for the D and the goalie. I think
and the goons.
Yeah, exactly. Stay away from the guy in the golden helmet.
Yeah, the goons and the fans too, chirping him. So I think it's fun.
So is it Markstrom, a guy, obviously you watched him growing up. Is he a guy whose style you try to maneuver out on the ice? Another big goalie as well.
Yeah, we're pretty much the same height. And watching him when I was younger, he was my idol, so I wanted to do everything that he did. Him and also Hank, obviously, but he's as big as I am, as you said, and I just love to watch him. He's big. He's a great skater. That's something I want to be too. So, it's just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, and Ottawa is a place with rich history and talented Swedish players, and it must have been awesome for you to have the opportunity to get drafted by the Sens. Final question for me here, Kevin, is take us back to your draft day. What was that like? Did you expect the Sens to draft you? What were your feelings like going into that?
Yeah, it's such an honor to go in the draft. It's a dream for most guys that start playing hockey. So to be honest, I didn't want to have too much high expectation of it. I was watching the day before. It was pretty close between especially Wright and Yakovchuk. So I was up watching it, see a couple of friends get drafted too. And then the next day, I was just super pumped and nervous, even though I didn't want to show it to my parents and my family. But
were you at home for that?
Yes, I was at home. So the draft starts and I wasn't really expecting it. I had a great interview with Ottawa and a month ahead of that, but I didn't expect Ottawa to pick me, but they did, and it was amazing.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ottawa, final question for me, Kevin. It's been great getting to know you. And just for people, obviously, great guy, just as good of a goalie. That playoffs you had this year with Dubuque was unbelievable. What a matchup in the finals, too. I'm looking at it. I'm not bringing up the loss, but, man, you showed that it wasn't a tough transition and just showing that you can take that next step. But as a young goalie, there's always things to work on. What was Justin Peters' message to you at the end of development camp?
No, but we talk about a lot of stuff. There's always things to develop. Just a little bit of everything, and we talked a little bit extra about some in zone plays to always be ready. Coming from bigger ice, when the puck is in the corner, you can basically just stand by the crossbar, and it won't be a threat. But here it goes so fast for the puck or for the players to create a goal chance. So just work on being ready and being set for the shot, no matter where the puck is at. Just because of that, it goes so fast, and gonna go even faster this year. So that's something we're for sure gonna work on, and that includes skating. It includes game sense, and also the fact that I need to be ready for anything, even though the puck is not in a danger area. It goes fast for it to be there.
Well, Kevin, we're really excited to watch your development. It's getting off to an unbelievable start, too. Your college career starts in Las Vegas, Nevada, the Icebreaker tournament. You play Massachusetts, you play Minnesota, Air Force is there as well, and we're going to be following every step of the way. Thank you for coming on the show, and we look forward to doing this again.
For having me. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your time.
All right, stick taps to Kevin for joining us. Really going to be fun watching him continue to develop with the University of Omaha. All right, Pills, any final thoughts on today's show?
Final thoughts for me is we got back to the Ring of Honor. We did 10 Ring of Honor episodes last off season. We just did our first one on Friday. Go check it out. It's me, Ross, and of course, the Leams Martian. Things get contentious. We love to see that. Go have your vote on Twitter at Sens Central. We did the best moments of last season. Hit us up if you have some fun Ring of Honor topics. I think we know what we're going to do next time. The next Ring of Honor will be next Friday with our good friend Jack Richardson. So tune in for that. And Ring of Honor season rolls on.
Wow, I wonder why he's so excited about it.
I didn't give any spoilers. I'm just trying to do some promotion here, Ross. You got a problem with promoting our episodes?
No, I love it, and I love the Ring of Honor. I think they're so much fun to do, and I do believe we have a few really fun topics in the hopper, but we're always interested in more. So, yeah, let us know in the comments what topics you'd like to hear done on the Ring of Honor. Really appreciate you guys for being so interactive with those. The premiere was hilarious. We had a bunch in the chat just having fun and shooting the breeze, making fun of us, and that's what the off season is all about. We're only 54 days away, though, from the opening game of the 2024-25 regular season. So get your popcorn popping and get it ready to go, because it's going to be a 4 playoff series start to the Sens season. We are going to live and die by those. Math guy, 28 games?
Yes, sir.
28 games. All right. For today, we say goodbye. We'll be back on Wednesday with a Sens Central Citizen. For today, though, we say goodbye. Thanks so much for watching, listening, engaging with the show. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast. Your team every day.